Hey guys, last time you saw me, I had just finished my interview at Michigan State's College of Veterinary Medicine. That was December 13th. So they had told us that we would hear from them whether we had an offer of admission or not the week of January 13th. I did receive an email that week, however, it was not an offer of admission. It was them saying that they were not able to send offers at this time like they had originally planned, and they were not sure when they would be able to send offers. So needless to say, I was a little bit stressed, and I just had no idea when I would hear anything, and it was not a good feeling. I know that their admissions, like head admissions person, just left for a different state. She moved, so they're probably hurting without her and overcoming some challenges of their own. So I kind of slid it under the rug and tried not to think about it. And it was very stressful, but it was what it was at that point. So yesterday was Thursday, January 13th or 23rd. And at about 5 o'clock, I received an email from Michigan State offering me admission into their DVM program starting fall this year. So I got in, you guys, so I'm very excited. And now I am worthy to answer any questions you have about getting in, the application cycle, the interviews. If you watched my very first video, you can see that I did not get in my first time applying. I kind of went into detail about what I did between my application cycles. I had a 2-year gap, and that's kind of some tips on how to revamp yourself. And then my video right before this was about the interviews. So Michigan State, they specifically do MMIs. So I kind of gave a little bit of detail on my personal experience with the MMI as much as I could say, because you're really not allowed to say too much, but there's tons of resources online. I went on Michigan State's website. They have an MMI page with information at the bottom, some links that you can follow to get some practice or just to see the types of problems. So if you want to know kind of my journey on how I did get in from 2 years ago to now, you can watch that first video. And if you want to hear about the MMI and my interview, you can watch the video right before this. So now I get to plan things. I know that orientation is August 12th to the 14th, and then school starts on the 17th. So they did, in the email of my offer, there was a few links that I had to, I'm not totally done with the things, but there are some steps I need to take before April 15th. So April is the common reply by date where anybody who's gotten into multiple schools, they have to reply to all of them by April 15th. Yes, I'm not going here, or yes, I'm going here, no, I'm not going there, that kind of thing. So one of the things I had to do was sign an intent to enroll form. So I already did that. You'll come to know that I do not like to procrastinate. I just like to get things done. So I did that last night and I emailed it back to them. I do still have to pay a pretty hefty deposit. It's not cheap to secure that spot. Well, not secure that spot, but it goes towards my fall tuition. But say I pay the deposit and I go somewhere else, I wouldn't get that deposit back. So just so they know for sure you're going there. And then there's also a different application. So Michigan State only wanted the VEMCAS application from me in the beginning. There was no supplemental application, and now there is a different application. It's like $65, so that might be their way of having a supplemental application, but they don't make you do it until you for sure get in. And I'm really not sure what it's for exactly. It might be for scholarships, it might be for something else. I'm not quite sure, but I'll let you know after I do it. So I have to pay a bunch of money, and go to this orientation, and then I'm assuming after April I'll get an email of like what supplies I need, if there's a certain kind of laptop, that kind of thing. So I'll keep you guys posted, take you on my journey with me, so you can kind of get a feel of vet school, well, at least what Michigan State requires and does and things like that, their timeline. And so I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be finding pet-friendly housing. I have a 10-year-old dog and a 10-year-old cat. They're both pretty mellow, but it's so hard to find housing that's pet-friendly, not super expensive, and that's like close to the college. If you do find pet-friendly housing, there's usually a monthly pet rent and a large deposit up front. So that's going to be my main focus, is finding a place to live, because I can't not take my kids. They're my kids, let's be honest. So that's kind of the next step of what I'm going to be doing. And so obviously the statistics for this year are not released yet, but at least for last year's application cycle at Michigan State, there were over 2,000 applicants, and they select about 115, 80-ish of those being in-state residents, the rest being out of state. So I'm not sure what the statistics are yet for this year, but out of the 2,000 or so applicants, they only interviewed about 125 in-state people anyway. So if you've gotten to that interview point, then you're already 3/4 of the way there. I did get an interview last time, but I did not get in, which really just made me feel like I was so close but so far away. But if you do get an interview with the vet school, awesome, like you're doing great. So the next thing I did after I got that email and I had my party celebration with my dog for a minute, I just thanked anybody that's ever helped me. So if you're fortunate enough to get into school, you really have to thank those people that helped you get there. I thanked the vet that I'm currently working with. I worked with him a couple years ago, and now altogether more than 2 years I've worked with him. In the middle of my work, I went down to Florida for a 6-month internship, and I worked with a wildlife vet down there. I thanked her because she really solidified to me that this is what I want to do, is wildlife and conservation. So, and she is so amazing. So I thanked her. I thanked one of my old high school professors, my biology and zoology teacher in high school, because he was able to get things dissections for us to do, which not every school up here does dissections. I come from a very rural area, so I was very thankful, and that solidified my love for biology and medicine and organ and body systems. So I thanked him because he was an awesome teacher. I also thanked my old boss. During my undergraduate career, I worked in student affairs. I was an academic success coach, and I worked a lot in orientation, and so that helped round out my people skills, because I was always great with animals, but not always so great with people. So she was really a big influence on, I think, who I am now as a person. So I thanked her. I thanked my friends, my family, anyone who's ever encouraged me. There was a point there that I was starting to get discouraged, because I was like, I'm almost 25. This is not in my plan. And it's kind of funny. I'll show you a picture I drew when I was about 7. So almost 18 years ago, I drew this picture of what do you want to be when you grow up? And you can guess what I said. So not everybody knows what they want to be since the age of 7, but I did. And so if you're anything like me, you're not going to let anything stop you. So just stay positive and don't let anybody discourage you. It can be done. I had it in my head that if I didn't get in this time, I was going to apply a 3rd time. Like, just keep getting it until I get in. I was kind of, I don't want to say an outcast, but I don't think it's very common to only apply to one school, which I did this time. Last time I applied to like 4 schools, and I didn't get into any of them, and I spent like over $1,000, and I had toured Michigan State because I got that interview last time, and I toured it again, And in my head, I'm like, this is where I need to go. Like, plus it's in-state tuition, and I really can't afford out-of-state tuition. So I only applied to state because I'm like, why waste my money kind of thing. But I am probably one of the few that does only apply to one, so it's definitely good to have your options. But if you have any questions about where I've been and how I got here, and maybe need some advice or just need to be reassured of something or anything like that, I'll try to help. Just ask me some questions and I'll get them answered for you. But in the meantime, I'm just waiting on the next steps, what I should do. This summer, I have my job at the vet clinic here in town, so I'm going to be saving as much as I can money-wise this summer. So that's my current plan. But I want to take you guys with me on this journey, hopefully the next 4 years. So just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Bye.